Well, we are here with Giuseppe Bausilio. So excited, Giuseppe. You're going to join us for the Phony Awards live at 54 Below on May 8th at 9:30. Thank you so much for doing this. This is so exciting for us to have you. I imagine this is not your typical ask that you get.
Certainly not. I hear I am in for a wild ride.
In for a while, right? So, have you ever done anything like this? Like, has improvisation been a part of your past at all?
Only in class, so I've done a little bit of improvisation. I actually took a 6 week course at Second City in Chicago when I was there with Hamilton.
Nice.
Um, and that's what I would do on my days off. I would just, drive up 45 minutes and go take
Uh,
classes.
that's awesome. I'm curious. So you were doing Hamilton in Chicago. So I'm curious how, if at all, those improvisation classes affected you as you were, I mean, you were performing nightly. Did you feel like it was sort of coming into your performance at all?
Absolutely. I think that it definitely opened up a little bit more creativity in, as we know, when you do 8 shows a week,
Yeah.
things can get sticky and maybe sometimes a little bit stale, and you always look for things to make the show more interesting that way. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I definitely think that the improv classes were certainly helping in yes-anding, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Would you consider someone who's sort of a natural, like, how does improv feel for you naturally? Is it sort of a natural flow for you? Does it feel tricky? Like, how does it fit for you naturally?
I think it definitely doesn't fit naturally. Only because only because so I grew up as a ballet dancer,
Yeah.
right? And as a ballet dancer, you are told what to do and how to do it,
Right.
right? And improv is so much of taking charge and really believing in the choice that you're making.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it took me a long time to fully realize that. And I still am trying to realize that in life, you know?
Stand
Um,
behind your choices even when you have no idea what they mean. I know.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's true.
Uh,
And
and
improv becomes like a life philosophy for people, I think, a lot because of things like that.
Certainly,
Yeah.
certainly.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's what I'm trying to do a little bit more now. And even though it doesn't come naturally at first, you just gotta hunker down and stick with the choices.
Yes. Yes. So now you grew up in theater, right? I mean, you were doing theater as a young man, right?
I grew up in the school of hard knocks of theater. I I didn't get to go to college for theater. I didn't get to take that, I guess, traditional route or more traditional route. I grew up doing ballet. That was like my
Right.
main bread and butter was ballet. And then I did a ballet competition in New York. It was the finals of this worldwide ballet competition. Nora Brennan, the Kits casting director for Billy Elliot, saw me there, asked me to audition for the role of Billy, and like I don't know, 6 months later, I was performing on Broadway, and
Gosh.
my whole world shifted upside down.
Yeah, that must have been what a transition. I mean, what was that like for you? That really is a life transition. I mean, what was that change like for you? As if you can even begin to address it.
It was a combination of pure excitement, excitement for the future, and also just terrifying fear of like what
Yeah.
is happening. Uh, yeah, it was very exciting, of course, at first, like any 10-year-old boy who's getting to travel to the United States of America, experiencing Times Square for the first time in his life, stepping out of the subway and just being bedazzled by all the lights here. It was
Oh my
very
gosh.
exciting. Of course,
Yeah.
then after the fact, you start to realize, oh, I've left all my friends behind, and I've left my family behind, and I have to make new friends, and I have to see a whole new home, and all those things. So again, a mixture of excitement and fear, and all the feelings that could come with that.
Yeah. Yeah. And what was it like for you transitioning to a Broadway stage? I mean, that's young to all of a sudden be on a Broadway stage. What was that like, that change?
Certainly, I mean, there was just a few little things that myself and including my family just didn't know were normal. Like, for example, when I first started rehearsals for Billy Elliot, my I went into this room with four adult men. One of them who was the director, the assistant director, my guardian, of course, who's looking
Yeah.
out for me,
Yeah.
and the music director. And we're rehearsing, and my mother is just supposed to trust these four strange men in a room with her son,
Yeah.
in a different
Yeah.
country. And so
Wow.
I think that was like it's the little things that people don't necessarily think about. It was very terrifying, like for my mother, really,
Yeah.
who's entrusting, this group of people with their son, and hopefully they have the best interest, which they did, thank goodness.
Of
Um,
course.
they were
Yeah.
all very, very good. Um, but yeah, so it was just a crazy experience coming from Switzerland. I'm originally from
Yes.
Switzerland, where I had cows in the back basically in my backyard, and then all of a sudden, just being on a Broadway stage in front of 1,500 people, performing 8 shows a week,
Gosh.
and singing and dancing and
Wow.
stepping outside and signing autographs and
Yeah.
like crazy, crazy,
Yeah.
So it was cool.
So do you feel like you ever get used to it? I mean, does it ever become old hat, that sense of stepping out onto a Broadway stage, or do you still get that rush?
I was just talking to someone about this because, and it was for something simple. Like I think I've started to realize over the course of my life that I have terrifying stage fright
Mm.
when it comes to like first performances, one-off performances, improv. Oh, look what
Yeah.
I'm doing now, you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and I actually had to take a small break from performing, uh, for a small break, about 2 years, because I started having this like debilitating stage fright, and I've
Wow.
worked through it since then. Um, but one more time, what was the question? I've got lost in
No,
thought.
it was just a question of do you lose do you sort of still get that rush when you step out on the stage, or does it fade?
Long story short, yes, I still very much get that rush, to the point where I asked this person, uh, who actually is Al Bendonis,
Hmm.
the Actors Equity like
Yes.
representative. Um, and we were doing I was asked to give away the legacy robe because I received it for Sunset Boulevard. The person who had just received it was in a matinee, and so they asked me to give it away again.
Oh, wow.
And I got so nervous all of a sudden, just like, having to talk in front of all of these theater people, and all of them were my friends. And I turned to Al and I go, "Do you still get nervous?" And I go, "Because I'm terrified to make this speech right now."
Yeah.
And he goes, Giuseppe, what he said, who was it? Was it Chita Rivera who said, "If you don't get nervous, it's time to move on"?
Mm.
Yeah, I
Mm.
think it was like, a legend said that, and it really hit home, because if you don't get nervous anymore, and you're not getting the same rush that you were getting in the beginning, do you really care? Are you really present?
Right. Right.
So I'm trying to reframe it in that way, that when it's something that terrifies me, it means that I care. It means that I
Yes.
am present. I'm in the moment.
Yes. Well, that brings us right back to improvisation and Broadway's Next Hit Musical on May 8th at
Yeah.
54 Below. So when you think about doing something like this, what is the fear? Because I know a lot of people do fear improvisation and performing improvisation. What's scary about maybe it's not, but I mean, is there an element of doing something like this that is still scary to you?
It's so bizarre because I honestly, I'm still trying to figure out like what the scary part is, because once I am in it,
Yeah.
like, just before that stage, and it was always like that as a kid as well, when I was like about to go off and perform and like, do my solo in ballet or whatever it was, and
Yes.
I would be backstage, I'd be like trembling, I'd be shaking, and all of a sudden you just hear the music and you're like, it's now or never. And then
Yeah.
you step out on stage and it's just gone.
Yeah.
and it's like you turn into a completely different person,
Yes.
and I still don't know what that is. I still don't know what that is.
Yeah.
I actually was talking to my girlfriend about this. I'm like, even after, this small speech that I had to give for the legacy robe, I was telling her, I was like, I don't know why I get so scared. Like, I am sweating, my armpits are wet, like I'm like breathing
Yeah.
heavy, my heart rate is going, and all of a sudden they announce my name and I step out and it's like, boom, we're in.
Wow. And it's funny
Yeah,
because it's harder to go up there and be yourself and speak to everybody, right? And then instead of
certainly.
going on and being a character and performing in front of thousands of people, when you got to just go up there and just talk. That's not
Yeah,
easy, right?
yeah, absolutely.
That's the hard part. Well, we are so excited to have you. And I mean, like I said, we've had a lot of guests and we're really, really special. We're really thrilled to do this with you. So, um, is there anything, any hopes you have for that night? Any wish that you're hoping to achieve? Anything you're like, one thing you're hoping for?
Just that people have a good time. Like, when it comes to a cabaret show, I
Yes.
feel like it's so different
Yeah,
because the proximity to people is so different. Like, you're so
totally.
much closer to people. There's just ways that you can interact
Yeah.
with people. It feels so much more low stakes than performing, on a
Yes.
grandiose stage, if you will.
Yeah.
Even though, it's still a job, and you're still
Yeah.
working on that, but you're able just to connect with people
Right.
in such a more intimate way,
Yes.
which I
Yes.
love. So I think my main, if I can do one thing, it's just that people come out and they have a good time.
Well, I'm sure they're going to, and I'm sure a lot of the reason is because you will be there, my friend. So thank you so much, and we'll see you on May 8th at 54 Below at 9:30 with
Can't
Giuseppe
wait.
Bausilio.
See you there.